I would like to recognize and thank all the contributing authors, Otter Day and Kaylin Terrell, of this chapter, as well as the STP editor team. Their collaborative efforts and expertise has been crucial to the creation of this work. Thank you. Hello, my name is Kelsey Barnacle, and I'm a visiting lecturer at Texas Women's University, located in Denton, Texas. I'm going to talk about a collaborative research project to help engage students in psychology and social justice. To begin, I'm going to give a little bit of a project overview and then talk about the separate components that make up this project. So throughout the semester, students are going to be working on a collaborative research project in groups of 3 to 4 students, and they're going to be integrating and expanding on topics that we're not going to be extensively covering within the 5 pillars. Now, this is an Introduction to Psychology course. We're going to be covering a lot of different topics, so this project really gives students the opportunity to explore anything that they find to be of interest a little bit further. And their main goal is to be able to create a easily digestible mini lecture on their research findings in order to really kind of distribute that to a non-psychology background audience, somebody who doesn't have a lot of knowledge in psychology, to talk about their topic and distribute that information. So this project uses a constructivist, collaborative approach where students are going to be guiding their learning and creating something that really empowers them to actively engage with their research. And by doing that, we're encouraging them to view it also through a social justice lens. So when they're thinking about psychology, we're also wanting them to think about what kind of social issues that are present within our society. How does that integrate and relate to research and theories, topics, and concepts within the psychological field? And how can they give that information to the general public and do so in a way that's going to be easily understood? So this project is separated into 5 different components. On the side of the screen, there is a QR code, which if you scan it, it will take you to a Google Drive document that has different outlines as well as more information regarding each one of these elements of the project. You're more than welcome to reference them or use them for any of your courses if you decide to take this project and make it and kind of implement it in your own classes. Now, to give a little bit of background and context, this project has been used in different types of courses as well as different modalities. For this particular Introduction Psychology course, it was an asynchronous online course that had roughly 90 students in it. Now, with this type of modality and size of the course, it can be a little bit difficult to manage the project and the many groups that we have, but it is obtainable to do in a variety of different formats. I think the best type of format to use this project will be in probably a hybrid or high flex course where the students will be able to meet and work more if they're able to have access to their group members in person, but we didn't have many problems throughout the semester in the asynchronous online course. Now, to talk about each one of the elements, they are mostly completed at a group level except for the self and peer evaluation, and each of the students will still have their own responsibilities and requirements for the group project. So it is really a collaborative effort. The goal is for students to really work and research this information together and to produce something that's going to be very engaging to an outside audience. So the first part is going to be the group contract and topic proposal. This happens at the very beginning of the semester. We're going to begin talking about different areas as well as research topics. And we're wanting students to identify kind of which pillar draws their interest most. And based on that, they're going to group up with other students who are interested in that particular pillar. Based on that pillar, for example, let's say social psychology, and they're really interested in understanding different ways in which prejudice are formed. So that's going to be their topic area and come up with a proposal regarding that. They're also going to create a group contract in order to help keep everybody accountable within the group and build group communication and skills. The group contract outlines their expectations, policies, what kind of skills they want to learn throughout this project, as well as how they're going to handle consequences if something happens with this group. We'll talk about exactly what makes a good contract, so hopefully everybody's going to be on the same page throughout the semester, and having a group contract really helps deter any problematic things going further, because we can just refer back to this contract. After submitting it, the instructor gives them feedback regarding their topic area, as well as where they can start to begin searching for their information and finding sources and building their annotated bibliography. So for the annotated bibliography portion, they're going to be researching and trying to find and gather at least 6 to 8 peer-reviewed sources that are coming from scholarly material. So for this, each student is going to find 2 of their own sources. They're going to create an annotation of their source. So they're going to be outlining what were the main findings of the source, how is it going to integrate further with our entire topic, what are things to consider regarding the source in general as well. Students going to be responsible for 2, and then they're all going to put it together in a document that outlines it in a way that it's understanding of these combined sources. So they have a good frame of reference of this is the material that they're looking at, and together they're going to come up with an introduction to the annotated bibliography. This is to really build skills of being able to find good research, being able to understand what that source material means, and to improve on their writing skills as well. The instructor will give them feedback. Maybe they maybe have some gaps in their research, or they need to find a little bit more sources to help with their topic area as well. The next part of the project is going to be the transcript outline of their mini lecture. So the transcript outline is kind of like a rough draft if you were to do this in a paper format, if they were writing a research paper, and it's to kind of outline who is everybody's speaking part, how are they really going to integrate their source material into a lecture. Now this gives them a chance to work out what they want to talk about for their research, and also do so in an engaging way in order to get feedback before they start their presentation. This transcript is going to outline everybody's speaking roles. Everybody should have roughly the same amount of speaking roles for this presentation. It's going to talk about what they're wanting to integrate with this, and focusing on exactly how are they going to integrate the requirements of the project. So some of the elements of what they're doing is talking about their topic, how it relates to everyday life, how it kind of integrates with the information we've been talking about in other pillars. So they're not focusing solely on their main pillar. That's where they derive their topic. But as we know, a lot of topics are integrated within the 5 pillars. So they're building on the information and talking about that. They're also going to be talking about how it relates to social justice and talking about some of the recommendations based on psychology to help address these issues. The last part of the project is actually recording and creating a mini lecture. Since this was an online class, they recorded using a software system within our learning management. It's also referred to as Panopto, where they can record the videos. But you can also have students record the video, upload it on YouTube, because we are talking about them distributing this information to non-psychological students and the general public, so they can have that information as well. So the mini lectures are about 10 to 15 minutes long, so that is going to really challenge them to help get their material on their topic and present it in a concise way. And the last part of the project is the self and peer evaluation. Well, they're going to evaluate their group members on their performance and contributions to the project, as well as themselves, to making sure everybody is held accountable through this research journey process. Now, those are the major components of the project. These can be modified and changed depending on the course, the modality as well. So this type of format has been used for upper level courses for statistics or experimental, as well as like women's psychology and graduate level courses. Different things are changed, so like the annotated bibliography and transcript outline is usually changed into a rough draft paper. And then the mini lecture presentation is changed into more of a symposium poster research presentation regarding their topic. But this is a really flexible project that instructors can have a lot of freedom and to revise and adjust a lot of these components to fit their needs depending on what they're looking at for this project. But that is all that I have for this overview of the collaborative research project. Thank you for listening. And again, I'm Kelsey Barnacle. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free to reach out to me at the email below. Thank you very much.